Apple event starts in about 10 minutes. It's 12:47 or something like that. And we just got a little bit of rain, surprisingly. I just checked the weather 2 minutes ago and it's saying no rain, but it rained. Not enough though. So we're out here watering. I wish this hose were long enough. I need to really get to the back corner of the property, but it ain't long enough, so we're doing it out here. Kyle, you can see that right here, the clear definition of where my sprinkler goes around the corner, then hits the tree. What hasn't been watered over there under their tree. But I did the whole front yesterday, so it's nice and green. Needs to be cut, mow up all these leaves. Probably cut it either tomorrow or Friday. Friday I might want to go to the pool, so I'll probably do it tomorrow. That's what I forgot to mention last night. I spent like 2 hours, went over the whole car again with Z6, and the wheels were all dusty and stuff since I've been driving it to Kent. And I cleaned the exhaust and windows, all that crap, and body. But we got a few minutes till the stream supposedly starts. It'll likely be totally unwatchable, and maybe that'll be foreshadowing to this event. If the stream works, then we'll have a good product. If the stream doesn't work, it's going to suck like the 6th. Boy, I hope that isn't true. Look at all these leaves back here. Look at this. It was like this in August, but it's the first week of September. Fall's in full effect. This is where it's gotten very dry. It's very dry, so we're watering. Hi, Luke.
Relax, don't do it when you want to go to it. Relax.
12:53, it's time. Let's see what we get over here. So one, we power on the tube. Second, come and wait for the Apple TV. That's the other announcement today that hopefully brings good news. Would be nice to see an updated Apple TV that perhaps is a bit quicker. As you'll see here, there's quite a bit of delay in between menus. Still going. Still going. Okay, so Apple events. That seems like a logical place to put something like this. Apple special event turning at 1 p.m. on September 9th. Wow, okay, so it's actually here. It said play. Buffeting. Buffeting. It works, and there's no Chinese over it this time. Oh wow, alright. Music from something. This is some very strange music they've picked this year. I don't know what it is. Kind of sounds like Stoner got some more instruments than they usually have. Actually, I've missed this quite a bit. For the last several years, I've always had Mac Rumors up. Usually I'm in class or out somewhere or flying somewhere. That's the worst when you're trying to be in tune to an event. You're in the air somewhere, but we got a lot of people. Looks like a beautiful day in San Francisco. I don't have San Francisco's weather in here. That looks like Moscone, but I don't think it is at Moscone. Video is now live at 9:48, which is 12:48 here, and then it's just going to constantly update for us. So it's going to be exciting. Alright guys, clearly the event is over. I watched that during its entirety, so I don't know, it went from 1 to 3 something. Had 2 hang-ups during the entire event, and they were both easily rectified by hitting the menu button and then hitting play again. And it would immediately connect, resume from about the same location, and play for another hour. Very impressed with today's stream. Also pretty impressed with today's announcements. I'm going to talk to you as I head over to the gas station to fill this thing up. I don't know if I want to take this car tomorrow, and there's barely any gas in it, so I want to make that an option if I do decide to use this vehicle tomorrow. In the meantime, today though, I've been watering the yard like crazy. I mowed across the street for the first time in like 6 weeks. Fired up the leaf blower I haven't used in about 8-10 months and blew the leaves off the backyard. Took a shower, ate dinner, and now I'm going to get some gas. So anyways, a couple of things surprised me today actually, and the biggest thing is that they totally revamped the iPad. Or I guess they didn't revamp it, they added a model called the iPad Air, or that's what we have now, the iPad Pro, which is 12.9 inch display, an A9X processor. I hate that they don't give us specs anymore. They used to tell us, you know, when the A6 or whatever came out, it's a 1 gigahertz solo core with a gig of RAM. That's like, great, I can kind of think about that. Now they just say it's an A9X, it's 90% faster than the old one, desktop class performance. Here's what desktop class means to me. That's a Pentium D from 6 years ago, or is that a quad-core, hyper-threaded i7? So I have no idea. That's a very relative term, saying it's desktop class. Having said that, to drive a screen with a resolution that high, it's going to need some serious juice to it, and at least 2 gigs of RAM on that thing. Usually the iPad has some more. So hopefully we see a teardown, or somebody releases some actual technical specifications, and we can determine if that is a 2 gigahertz dual core. That would be fantastic. Or a 16 gigahertz octa-core. That would be fun too, but we'll see. I don't know that I have plans to purchase that device. It's kind of pricey, but it looks really cool. I can't wait to get my hands on one. Then the Apple TV, new Apple TV. It's taller. It's got its new operating system now, tvOS. Actually looks really cool, so I'm excited to see that. The new remote on the Apple TV looks to be very neat in the way that it's got a bunch of buttons on it now instead of just like a D-pad and then play, pause, and menu button. It's also got a touch sensor on it and Siri. And another thing that's annoying is the one right now uses, I guess, infrared. So you've actually got to, okay, and I sound horribly lazy here, but you've got to lift your arm up and point it at the TV. What are we living in the Stone Ages here? So the new one's Bluetooth 4.0. So you'll be able to, you know, if you got a blanket or something, you won't have to reach up and start waving your hand around in the air to get the remote to work. So that's exciting, I guess. Then there's two capacities, which is interesting. Kind of a throwback to the original Apple TV that came with a hard drive in it. Now, of course, it's flash, but there's 2 capacities instead of having everything on the web. Reason being, the Apple TV now supports apps. You can download apps from an app store, games, whatever. And obviously that's going to utilize disk storage space. So there's a 32 gig for $149 and a 64 gig for $199. I doubt that I will use much in the way of applications on that device. I really don't see that as being my use for it. So I don't know, another 50 bucks for 32 additional gigabytes that some of it'll recoup on sale when another one comes out in a year or two. I don't know, we'll make that call when the thing comes out, which I think they said is late October. So iPad Pro, very cool. Apple TV, whatever they're calling this, the new Apple TV, very cool. Don't have any issues with either of those devices. Software optimization on the TV looks pretty immaculate. It looks like it's going to be really nice. So then we get into the iPhone. They saved that for last because they know it's a smaller incremental update. Biggest feature they add is 3D touch. Now it can distinguish the difference between a hard press and a soft press. And the software is going to utilize that by bringing up different prompts depending on your input to the display. So I think that'll kind of grow as it's out for a while, as developers start to use it. But even just within Apple, what they call it pop and peak, look to be cool features for just streamlining productivity. When they were in the Mail app during one of the demos, they opened this thing called El Capitan Progress or Status Update, and it was totally a little under the table tip to anybody paying attention that the operating system will be coming out on September 30th, which is in about 3 weeks. So I'm ready for that. Really, Yosemite hasn't been bad. It's got a few bugs in it, but I'm sure El Capitan will just make that better. So then with the iPhone 6s, we get an A9 processor. Again, no specs. Hopefully we see that teardown, or somebody gets a hold of one and puts some sort of software on it that can read the device internals. Needs at least 2 gigs of RAM. Really hope it's like a 1.8 dual or something like that. What is it now? Is it a dual core right now? I don't even know. I think it's a 1.4 dual. So we'll see what they do with that. They've built in a haptic feedback module, little motor thing for the 3D touch. That's new. They put the Motion 9 processor in the A9 processor itself, so it's all in one chip. Cool beans. They really didn't make any kind of a note on battery at all. They also didn't really talk about the case. We know it's 4,000 series or 7,000 series aluminum now, so I guess that's an upgrade. They didn't talk about any bending or anything like that. No One More Thing announcement. Then they had a band, One Republic, come on and play a few songs at the end. So, good event. You know, not a huge upgrade with the iPhone. In terms, at first look, it's not. I think the usability of it, that's what's going to make it a ginormous upgrade, is it's going to be responsive, way more functional. It's going to actually work well now. And if it doesn't, I'm going to be so pissed. I'm going to go buy some Windows Mobile 2003 device. Also the 6S, we saw camera upgrades. We will see camera upgrades. 12 megapixels in the back, 5 in the front now instead of 1.2. And everybody says, oh, more megapixels is better. Well, they talked about it today, exactly. You get more noise with more megapixels, you lose clarity. Just because you have a more sensitive sensor doesn't mean it's going to pick up a better image, just a bigger image. So Apple said that they set a goal for themselves to not increase the megapixels until they can do so without harming the actual photo quality. So that's probably why it's been 4 years since we've seen a megapixel upgrade, but now we're going to have that. Some of the photos they demoed today looks just unbelievable. They look like DSLR quality images, but I don't know, they always kind of do that. The other thing is a new Touch ID sensor, supposedly quicker and hopefully more accurate as well. We're cleaning up shop, getting ready for bed. It's after 1. It's not 2 yet, I hope 1:44. So anyways, good Apple event today. Did a lot of yard work outside. Ended up cleaning up the trimmer, put new line in the trimmer, topped everything up with gas. Hosed off the deck of the mower, cleaned some mud off of that. Filled that up with gas, blew some leaves in the back, watered the lawn. It looks better. Also cleaned up the garage a little bit. We've got my pool bag, bunch of shoes to wear around here. Brought out some new towels from the basement. Car is still very clean. I don't know which I'm going to take tomorrow. I got gas in the 330, so that's full. They've been saying it's going to rain on Thursday all week. Now they're saying it's not, so I'll check tomorrow. If it's dry, then we'll take the Silverstone. Anyways, tomorrow's Thursday. I've got 2 classes. I'm going to have lunch with Joe at 2:15. Then I'm going to work on some calculus work, maybe some web stuff in his class. It's going to be a busy day. Probably won't get any mowing done tomorrow. I really don't need to do much, just here. Nothing else is growing. So anyways, leave some thoughts and comments on today's Apple event. Let me know what you think. And we'll talk tomorrow on Thursday. Good night.